Hi guys. So we don't have anyone to lead this meeting, so we'll be doing this by ourselves. I'm really happy to be with such a wonderful women and leaders. So I'm humbled to be here.
Oh.
And if you want to join us, if you have questions, if you want to help us lead this meeting, just ask away and we are happy to answer and go into the conversation with you. Okay, who wants to start?
Okay, so we were a little bit surprised to realize that there is no moderator. That wasn't really clear for us. So we had a little bit of preparation to actually get us going. And we're thinking of starting with a statement from each of us of what authentic leadership is all about. So basically just to set the tone set our perspective, maybe not the tone. But what Alex just said, we would love to have you ask us questions. So like, if you think that you have a question, please come over because we are not going to see it. Unfortunately, you know, the light is not the perfect test. So please come over here and ask us questions as we go. Don't wait for the end of it. Okay? Is that cool? Yes? No? Perfect. Daria, would you start?
Sure. So we were talking about leadership, right? And for me, specifically, being a leader means I need to be a human first, and I need to gain the trust of the people that I'm leading, or my team. Not only my management, but also my team. My team needs to trust me. They need to believe that I'm there to make their life better, in a way, open doors for them, help them, guide them, give them the right opportunities. And in terms of like managing up, like being a leader, you also need to manage up and not only manage down. It also goes down to trust. And one thing I really like, and it's not exactly politically correct, but I learned during the years that I need to keep my mouth shut sometimes. Like have this ability and opportunity to go into a place and not go into my impulse and like, I'm a leader, I know what I'm supposed to do, I've seen it before, I'm gonna come and break everything and make everything better. And that was a big learning curve for me. So I need to step back, really understand what's happening in the organization, really understand what can I solve, how can I solve it, and then start very small. I like to call it the low-hanging fruits. So what can I do now, very simply, to have a big impact in order to build credibility with people around me, whether that was my managers, whether that was my team, but that goes into really building credibility. Are you okay?
Yeah, I am okay. I'm trying to find my footing here.
Well, then maybe you would like to. Maybe we would like to go.
Okay, so it's a difficult question, you know, because for a long time I believed that there is a way to be an ideal leader. And I've heard people telling me that only if you get into this mysterious level of leadership, you're gonna be there and the nirvana is ahead of you and you're not gonna do anything anymore. And as I was going through different organizations, you know, I was just seeing like, okay, the tricks working in this organization were rubbish in this one. The way I was talking about design, doing things in this organization, and it worked. I would go to another organization and it would never work, like, you know? And you basically, and I was thinking, okay, like, I suck, you know? Like, I'm just not a good leader, like, I just can't do this shit. And then what I realized is that for me, the good leadership is if you are in agreement with yourself, and this is extremely important. I've been placing myself and I've been placed in roles and situations when I was going very much against who I am. It cost me, basically it cost me a 2-year burnout, so like, just to be perfectly honest. And questioning whether I want to be a leader ever again. So first of all, agreement with myself, agreement with my team, and this is exactly what you were talking about. I like there are different ways of leading. My way of leading is to have my teams feel like they grow. It doesn't mean that they always feel good, and this is like a big kumbaya life. No, we have sometimes difficult situations, tensions, and so on and so forth. But as long as they feel that they grow, as long as they feel that they have a reason to be in my team, this is perfect. And also, if they grow to a point when they want to go somewhere else, that's perfect too. Like for me, leadership is about not keeping your team like by the neck, It's about like seeing that some people, they need another challenge to develop themselves and being happy for them. And the last thing is the organization. Your leadership, at least my leadership, changes with context. And I really need to just sit and very consciously think, what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, which is for me cool because I love trying new things. So like I keep on experimenting and like doing some crazy shit sometimes, and see, okay, like this resonates, this doesn't. Yeah, and maybe I stop here.
Okay, so keyword from what you said is impact. This is how I got into leadership, because I was doing a lot of work. I was a researcher, I was designer, I was product person, let's say. And at some point I was thinking, I'm doing all this work and I don't have impact. I still don't have impact on the organization, on my clients, or on the community. And at some point I thought, I need to be a leader to have that impact. And this is how my journey to become a leader started. But basically, what you said, Aga, it's like, for me, being a leader is creating a team that is empowered, is growing. And I'm always, when I hire people or when I'm joining a team, I'm always preparing them for their next job. Not for this job, for the next job. I'm always making sure that they have opportunities to grow, and this is the moment when they say like, Alex, it was great, but I want to move forward. This is the best day of working with that person. It's like, oh my God, I was able to help that person go forward. And I was seeing a lot of bosses. Some of them were very, authoritarian types. Some of them were servant leaders. Some of them didn't know what they are doing because they were just
a lot of them.
You know how it is, right? It's like you are team leader, like you are the developer. Then you are like, oh, you are working here for 4 years. You are going to become a team leader, and then you are going to become manager. And nobody asks you if you have the skill set, if you have the psyche to actually be a leader of someone. And one more thing about leadership. So basically having an impact and being able to help other people grow. But one more thing, I think everyone on in this room, I think everyone can be a leader in some capacity. It's not about your title. It's not about if you are director, manager, or something like that, or C-level. Basically, it's about if you want to take charge, if you want to take responsibility, if you want to take ownership and move forward. And this is a journey. This is why I love your book, because this is a journey. I highly recommend Aga's book, Leadership by Design. I love this book, and I'm always giving this to all people that I mentor. So basically, it's a journey, because everyone has different background. Everyone comes from different childhoods. Everyone comes from different education. You have different friends, and you will be a different leader than any other person in this room. But you can be a leader. If you want to take charge, if you want to take responsibility, you can be a leader and you can create your own way. There's no way to be a leader. In every organization, it's different. You're thinking like, I had this moment in my life when I thought like, okay, I'm a good leader. I'm doing good job. People were telling me, you are a good leader. I like to work with you. And then I went to another organization. It was like, oh my God, I suck. I suck at this. Like, how can I make this happen? So it's always a journey. It's a journey because there's different contexts. But basically, I highly encourage you, if you feel like you want to change something, take this ownership. go on this journey, find people to help you on this journey, because it's a lonely journey. Like, I don't know what are your experiences, but this can be a very lonely journey. So find people who will support you, who will be always there, like those two people sitting here, who are always here with me, and they are making me a better leader, they are making me a better person, because I can see me in them and them in me. So yeah. So maybe the loneliness of a leader, maybe this can be our first topic. What do you think?
I can start if you want to.
Sure.
Okay. So I hear this statement and this phrase a lot, that being a leader is a lonely place. And it can be a lonely place for a number of reasons. First of all, sometimes you just know more than your team. And I know that there are those philosophies of total transparency and so on. I don't believe in this. I think that there is like no freaking way, unless you are one person company, that you can share everything. First of all, imagine the situation that one of your team is sick. Are you going to share it with the rest of the team? That would be transparency. So leaving up to this imagined ideal of transparency, I think it's a very damaging way of thinking about it. But then you are there to take that weight upon yourself. And you may not have your bodies, your peers to have a discussion with, because that often happens as well. Then there's the second thing of making difficult decisions. Sometimes you have to make difficult decisions. And I don't know if you had those bosses. I did. I had bosses who tried to offload their difficult decision onto us. And that is a terrible thing to do. Like, if you're there, this is part of the job. And then there's the third thing, and this is about keeping it cool, I would say it probably. So basically, if you see that there's tension in your team, that there is some sort of difficult situation, of course you can go and be very empathetic and say like, oh, poor you, oh my God, like, oh yeah, oh, my heart goes out to you, and I'm so touched, and then like I'm so absolutely in tears about this. But your team is not expecting you to be a crying shoulder. Your team expects you to be a problem solver. So this is a moment for me at least, to buckle up, go, think, and make, again, like some decisions. But, and this is to your point, many years ago I've been at Microsoft Research in Redmond. I spent some time there, and I was talking to a lady, Mary Czerwiński. The family name is of Polish origin indeed. She used to be a supervisor of my PhD. And I asked her, how does she choose leaders for the research team at Microsoft? And she told me one thing that stuck with me. She told me that there are like, in research, everyone wants to become a leader at some point. They are ambitious, they have those PhDs, they want to lead their visions and so on. And she told me that there are usually you can kind of bring it down to two motivations of why people come and want to be a leader. And one is, I have a vision and I need a team to execute on my vision. And this is one approach. And the other approach is like, I want to be the person who enables other people to execute their vision. And she told me I'm only choosing the other two, the second one for leaders. And this is something that kind of stuck with me.
Wow. On top of everything you said, I think there's two kinds of leaders, right? There's a leader who's a manager, so you manage a team. And there's a thought leader. You're working as an IC, whether you're a staff, very senior, or you have an idea and you have vision. And the manager's path is very lonely, as you mentioned. Like, sometimes you need to set the boundaries, and sometimes you need to make difficult decisions and do something that you wouldn't do. And sometimes you end up in situations where you yourself emotionally not feeling very well because of something is happening, like there's layoffs in the organization or there's some difficult decisions. But not only you cannot tell, you also need to give them space for their own problems and give them the space to tell you about what's happening with them. So you're always like in the back and you're always like not allowing yourself to feel what's happening. And that's the lonely part about being a leader manager. If you're what we call an IC, like an individual contributor, or a thought leader, that's even a lonelier path. Because, face it, you're playing the game on hard here. You have a vision, you have an idea, you don't have a team to execute it. You don't have the power. You don't own anyone's salary, performance, so basically it's only on you and how can you convince and influence people around you to execute on your vision without having a power. And I think that is even more lonely. And sometimes you want to go very fast, but you can't. You need to stop, you need to take breaks, and you need to get things done. And I have a story I will share. Also one of these stories where a manager told me something and it stuck with me until today. And I was working for Amazon, and when I started working for Amazon, I was an IC. I was hired as an individual contributor. And I had this idea that I really was so passionate about, and I thought that was the right thing to be done. And on my way to influence people, I was stepping on everyone's toes. I was literally getting into fights, escalations. I reported to a GM, so I reported into product. But we had a centralized design team where designers reported to a VP of design. So not only that VP of design didn't like the fact that I don't report to him, but I'm there making noise, making everyone unhappy, having escalations between my VP and their VP, until my VP, his name is Shiva, and I give him a lot of credit in my career. He brought me into his office and he said, Daria, you really need to slow down. If everyone ran at your speed, we would be in a very different situation right now. But people have different motivations. People are in different places in their life. Not everyone is super young and super excited to come in and do a change. Give people space. And I still remember this until today, right? And I still tell it to my team members, because sometimes I encounter one designer who reminds me of myself, who's just like super passionate, wants to change everything. I'm like, hey, hold on, Tiger, wait a minute. You're gonna upset everyone, nobody's gonna trust you, hold on. So yeah, I think being an IC leader is even more difficult, even more lonely, but not everyone has to become a manager to become a leader. Like I think this idea, I need to go into a management track to become a leader, I think that's a little bit more of the old times. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm sorry, I'm just smiling. I'm hearing a lot of stories that my own experience. So to your point first, I'm thinking like the transparency thing. When I was younger, I was thinking like leaders should be transparent. This was my ideal. I was thinking like, I need to go there, I need to be there, this is my North Star, be transparent. Later in life, I was trying to be transparent, really. I was really, yeah, oh my God. It cost me a lot. It cost me a job, it cost me friends, it cost me very important people in my life. But you know, I have this problem with my brain when I'm a very honest person, and this is a fault. Not everyone likes honest people. And I always know when someone is bullshitting me. So it was really hard for me not to be transparent. But you know, this is the example you said. Like, if someone in your team is sick, you cannot tell that to other people. So I believe now not in the transparency, but in opacity. So basically there's a level to which you need to go into all the details. Because sometimes you also are a shield of your team. And you need to shield them, you need to be like an umbrella. You need to shield them from all the shit that's coming to them. So if you have another manager coming to you and saying like, your team sucks, they are incompetent and you need to fire half of them, it's not something you are sharing with your team. You are telling them, guys, you are doing amazing job, you are looking at them, you are looking if they are doing amazing job and you are helping them to do better. But you are not telling them, you know, the team leader of development doesn't like you. It's not something you're giving as a message. Of course, there are times when you need to be transparent. If something bad is happening in the company, You as a leader, you have, in my opinion, you have the responsibility to tell the people, because they have mortgages and they have children and they need this job. So they need to be aware what's happening in the company. This is how I lost my job,
This
by
is
the way.
clarity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Painful. Legal, yeah, painful. But on the other hand, I'm thinking like this loneliness of a leader, transparency is one thing. The other thing, making tough decisions. Being a thought leader, this is another like level, because if you have a vision, it's your vision. And it's really hard to share that vision. There is like dragon dreaming. I think this is from teal organizations. You know, those Yeti organizations that everyone wants to be, but nobody's seen them. It's like a unicorn. So the organization when there's a democracy, the true democracy. It's very hard to create such organization. But in oh my God, I lost my thought. This is what you are doing, like, you know how it is. Thank you. So when you have this vision in Dragon Dreaming, in Teal organization, you are supposed to kill this dream, this vision in your head, and pass it along to other people, yes?
Can I have a question?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm here. I wanted to tie into like the authority topic in particular, especially as I understand, I think we were all like assigned female at birth, so I wanted to learn your perspective from like the gendered point of view. I believe I started to have leadership positions at a quite young age, and it was quite challenging for me as I was perceived as female and then ruling all the boys in the development department, let's say. And what's worrying for me right now is that currently there is like a new generation of young female leaders joining the workforce, and it seems like they're still struggling with the same problems that, yeah, you're like a young girl and you aren't, I don't know, in the right position, the right person to be a leader. So I would like to learn your thoughts. And I will have another question if I can after this one. Thanks.
Sure. Wow. I didn't expect this question to come that early, but if I understood from you correctly, is you were asking about being a woman in leadership position, correct? Yeah. Young women. So I'm going to tell you where in the world that we started, and I would speak for both of you, right? We started a long time ago. I'm not going to say when, so you would not know our ages. But that was a very, very different world than what it is today. First of all, there was no UX schools. Like, we all come from very different backgrounds. I never went to a school like to study UX because it was non-existent. And I worked in organizations where I'm always the only female on the team. And that was very hard. Not only hard from a product perspective or get people to believe in me, but also like pragmatically it was very hard. Like, there was always like the men's bathroom, but no women's bathroom because it was just me. It was just a bunch of guys in the room. And then when I transitioned into Amazon, that was even harder because I was the only female leader in the room, and I was the youngest one, and I was the least technical one. And truth to be told, every time I would go into the room, I was always feeling like I have a panic attack. Because I'm getting in and there's just men, so much older, and I had this imposter syndrome being very strong, and all my insecurities would come out. And every time I would do that, I would think, hey, hold it together, pretend that everything's fine, they hired you, you passed the interview, you will be okay. And this is how I survived, in all honesty. Now it's a little bit different because you see more female leaders, you see a lot more women in tech, which is very nice. Like, it's such a joy and it's such a pleasure to be able to go into a room and see somebody like you. But when it comes to women leader, I think like younger generation, I think you just have to hold your ground and fill your space. Somehow we tend to be, or I would speak for myself at least, I don't want to speak for everyone else, we tend to shy away, or we tend to think, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm not good enough, or I don't want to apply to this job because I only have 4 years of experience and they're asking for 5 and I'm not really sure. So we're doing this to ourselves. Or you go into a room and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to ask a question. And my trick to that, I'm an introvert by nature, so I tell myself, for the first 10 minutes in the meeting, I have to ask a question. I have to say something, because if I don't, I'm not gonna ask anything for the rest of the day, for the rest of the meeting. And it's more like a challenge, and I challenge myself. And this worked for me. I think you have to find your way on what really works for you. But if I would give you one advice, hold your ground, like fill your space. Stand tall, even the way you sit like you are owning this space. Don't shy away.
I was laughing when you were talking about, I remember my first project. I was a freshly baked UX. UX wasn't UX at the time, working for Agfa Healthcare in, I was working in Belgium. The project was from Germany. And I entered the room. I never done a project of that sort. And there were 16, I thought very old men, they were probably my age now, but you know, like in German men in suits, in ties, looking at me a little bit like an animal in a zoo, you know, like this cute little lemur, like what is she doing here? And I had to lead the project. But what I've learned, and I had an amazing boss at the time, he told me, this is your advantage. As long as you understand that you are not playing their game, you are playing your game. You are being you. And I think that as women, we often still try to be more like men. We have to be strong and we have to be, you know, I don't know, you probably know more than me. I'm not doing this for a long time now. But what I've noticed is that the more I am me, the more people start listening to me. And not because I am a woman or, you know, like I have experience or whatnot, but because I come, and one thing, and it's absolutely to your point, one thing that I had to unlearn was the imposter syndrome. I had to tell to myself that I'm there and I have every single right to be there. And as soon as I got to this point, and I wasn't really kind of doubting myself in the middle of the meeting or presentation or whatnot, suddenly I realized that I had the space. And of course, sometimes I would be, again, like one woman, and they would ask me, like, could you bring water? And I said, like, no, you can bring water and bring it to me, for me as well. But you know, like, at the end of the day, we have to believe in ourselves. And this is one thing. And there's another thing that I would like to underline here, is that we as women need to support other women leaders. We are not doing this. The guys, and I appreciate men for this, they are having their back. They can have like a fight, they can have, not always, I can imagine, but you know, like it's kind of, they are able to work it out. And we have troubles with that.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, so my name is Dominika. I have been a lead for quite a long time, and now I run a team of 20 designers at SoftServe. And I just wanted to add like 2 pieces of advice. First one would be find a female leader that you can be like colleagues at least, or have a mentor. It's really very powerful experience, I would say. And I had the opportunity to have a female leader at the beginning of my path. And she was extremely strong, and also, I would say, she was very much using of her appearance, because she was like quite a small, very beautiful, red-headed girl, and she was very strong. And of course, a lot of men didn't really see her as a threat, and that was a very major, really fail for them, a major mistake. So that will be one piece of advice, and I think that this is also about like women, you know, helping other women. But also I feel that, you know, with my teams, I also see the change, that more and more women are just really stepping in and really helping other women to do their job like they should. And also like the third piece of advice here would be, I would also stop like adding the the gender here, because I feel that it's a different landscape than it was some time ago. And I know that sometimes it is still difficult, but I still think that if you also change your mindset that I'm not the only female in the room, I'm just maybe a young leader in the room, it's also really helpful. So just hear this, but yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically, only person that can tell you if you are enough is you. There's no one in the world who can tell you you are not enough, you are not supposed to be here. And a lot of young women, especially young women, are thinking like, I need to be rational. I need to stop my emotions. Because if I'm doing something emotional, I'm not rational. Guys, there's like a book of Daniel Kahneman, highly recommended for everyone. There are two types of thinking, fast thinking and slow thinking. Slow thinking is here, it's our prefrontal cortex, and it's the part of the brain that is stopping us from making stupid choices. But on the back of our head, sometimes, yeah, not always, but in the back of our head, there's the fast thinking, and the fast thinking is emotional. If you are emotional, you can make decisions faster. And all the decisions that we are doing as humans, it doesn't matter what kind of set of genitals you have. As humans, we are making our decisions by our emotions. Because women are allowed to be emotional from the age of, 1 month up, we know how to ride the dragon. We know how to master our emotions. So basically, female leaders have an advantage, but we are trying to get this advantage under control. Yes, squashed. It's like, no emotions. Be emotional. Be yourself. Be who you think you are. There's only, oh my God, Paulo Coelho again. It's only one truth, your truth. Who you are going to be as a leader. You will be great leader for some teams, you will be crappy leaders for other teams, then you will have to adjust and adapt and move. This is why we called it a journey, because this is a journey. And don't and never let anyone tell you you are not enough, you are not supposed to be there, because I'm really, this is really funny because we are starting to talk about female leadership and it's like 5 men left the room.
Can I add? This is for everyone. This is for men as well.
Exactly. So don't worry, we will be not fighting here the fight like go women. But basically go people, be a human being that's enough to be a leader. Be a good human being, that's it. Be decent. Yeah.
All right, so thank you for all of this. Lots of interesting subjects here, but I want to ask about something that it feels like is a theme amongst my work, across what you are talking about, which is this, we talk about leadership that inspires, that earns authority, doesn't demand it, but then you as leaders talk about going into a room and people being very aggressive and masculine and you having to like really push your way through to even ask a question. And I do wonder if there's like how you think about the responsibility between you as a, let's say, new leader in a group of leaders of taking charge versus perhaps that group bringing you in. And presumably when you onboard people to your teams, you make sure that they are set up to succeed. How does that work within leadership from your experience?
You went for the microphone, so I think you want to start. No, go ahead.
Because there's an echo in the room, so like I will rephrase what you asked. So you're asking how to be a leader in a room where the rules of conciliation and coming to a common understanding is not the case. Am I understanding correctly?
That's also an interesting question.
Okay, but say it again.
So what I'm thinking about is, how do you see the responsibility of a group of established leaders for bringing in new leadership and maybe helping them succeed? How do you see that dynamic?
Oh, this is a good one. So there is the ideal truth and the real truth. Because of course, if you come to a certain level of leadership, what's next? So, and this is a very honest question. Like people ask this question and sometimes they unfortunately hold on to their chairs and don't allow other leaders to come through to the new roles simply because there is no career for them. And this is something that I think a lot of organizations don't address in any way. And this is something that I don't have an answer, but I think it should be addressed. So this is one part to your question. The second part to your question is, I use a story because stories work better. So I'm working with this organization in the public sector. There is a person who is a IT development director. He should have retired years ago. He uses technologies that are dangerous. He has an opinion about everything, and he never grew anybody to replace him, because this is a way to be irreplaceable. And I think that whoever was his boss made a huge mistake, because I think that this comes from the top leadership, that you need to stimulate, I'm looking for a good word, stimulate your leaders to create successors. And it can be theoretical, it doesn't have to be told, but we all as leaders need to think who is going to replace us and who is going to be better than us.
So basically you need to share some responsibility with someone. So if you are trying to get someone into the role of the leader, you need to give them a role of a leader. So if you are in a team, if you are experienced leader, you see some people are born to be leaders, some people can be taught to be leaders, but some people are not leaders material, and that's fine. Not everyone has to be a leader. Some people want to be a part of a team, and they are amazing because they are building this backbone of your team. But if you are seeing someone who can become a leader, or you are seeing someone who is born natural leader, you need to share responsibility. And this is really hard because some people are leaders to have power, and power is not something that we want to share with others. So this can be hard for some people. And I think you are also, so sharing responsibility, that's the first one. Another one is allowing this person to shadow you. Showing your way of thinking, how you are making decision, why you make this decision. So you are giving this person a little bit more insight into how you are doing this, and you are not telling them, do this my way, because my way is the best way. No, you are telling them, observe me and see if you want to be like me or you want to be someone completely different, but this is my way of thinking. This is why I'm doing this. A lot of people will be doing amazing job, not when you tell them, do this, but when you tell them, do this because, or what can you actually do, because we need to make some change, add some value, and so on. So basically giving responsibility, then sharing your thought process. And also, I think that leaders need to talk to other leaders and tell them that here I'm seeing a person who can step up, and I want to help that person step up, and I need other leaders to help me. Because creating a leader is not a lonely game. You need people, because if you are only one creating a leader, probably you will create a copy. We don't need copies. Like, basically, more copies of me, come on, like, nope. No, the world couldn't handle this. And basically, we need a lot of people. It takes a village. It takes a freaking village to create a leader. So basically finding people in the organization. And you know, I think you asked this question and it like opened something in my head. We were talking about this. What kind of leaders today's world need? Because I'm a servant leader. Like, this is my core, this is who I am. And I'm looking at some leaders, political leaders right now, and I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm not the best type of leader for these times. Because we're living in a VUCA times, like violent times, very uncertain times. There's like a lot of complexity. And you know, we have war across the border and world is unstable. Everything is unstable right now. And I'm thinking, am I a good leader if there are political leaders who are completely different from me? They have different set of values, they are different set of rules, or maybe no rules, but they are leading the world. And I'm thinking at this point, what kind of leaders do we need? Do we need authoritarian leader who will stand and they will give you all the easy answers? Like, go this way, you will be safe, everything is fine. Those are the bad people, those are the good guys. I don't know. I really don't have the answer. Like, in my core, deeply inside me, I still believe that being a servant leader creates a better world, because you are not serving yourself, you are serving others. They are becoming leaders, they are becoming better, and they can create a change. If you are a leader who is serving only yourself, and this is the authoritarian style of working, you are only creating world for you, and you are not creating your successors because you are afraid of successors. I would love to have a successors, like, more the better, because I know that the world will be safe, because they will take it from me and they will lead forward. So I don't know, I don't have good answer. Maybe you have, like, what kind of leaders do we need?
I would like to answer the first question. If it's okay, then I will comment. I want to give a little bit of light on what some organizations do systematically. So in Amazon, in Miro, and we've done it before as well, we are required as managers, so any manager who's managing people or any senior IC is required to create what we call the succession plan. So the succession plan with me as a manager, I need to create it for the end of the year and present it to my manager present it to his manager, and it goes all the way up. And the reason is people come and go. I could come out today and, you know, time is ending. Nobody knows what's happening, and as much as I hate to say it, but business needs to move on, and you need to see what is going to happen in case you decided to leave the company. So in this succession plan, I need to provide options. If I leave, who will step up from my team? Or who am I training to step up or to take my place? Who in the organization is capable to take my place? Same level, same technical expertise, basically somebody that I would be plugged out, they will be plugged in. Third option, in case of the two options didn't exist, what is my strategy to hire my replacement as soon as possible? Do I have the right contacts? Do I have the right reach? Do I have a job description ready with all of the materials that I need to submit to somebody else? How does this work? We meet at once a year. In Amazon, it's called the OLR, the review season. In Miro, it's called the performance season. And we, as managers, we discuss the succession plan, and we discuss what we call our next bench. So who's going up when we go up or when we leave. And there will be like an honest discussion. So I will say, from my team, person X, I've been training him or them, and they have the right experience, they have the right project, they have the right scope. And what I need from everyone else is to let me know if you are seeing the same data points that I'm seeing, or we need to change course. Or I can ask a question, I need to give this person more scope. Is there any project on your team that we can connect with my team so we can give this person more scope across multiple streams? And that's how we do it a little bit more systematically, in order for us to know what is going to happen if, in case I decided to go somewhere else, or in case my partner or my design teammate decided to leave, right? So I need to create this. If I'm a manager, I create for my team. If they're a manager, they also create it for themselves, and as I mentioned, this goes up. It's really difficult to plan your succession plan because you're like, does that mean I'm telling people that I'm leaving? No, it just gives you and everyone else a peace of mind. So that's answering your question in more systematic and organizations that are a little bit more mature in terms of tech. Like we don't have these characters that you mentioned, thank God. In terms of what kind of a leader this world needs, I don't know. I think it depends on what kind of situations you're in, right? Like I feel I'm very fortunate that I work in an organization that design is very strong. We have a seat at the table. Yesterday we were talking about how design is structured. So we have like a 3x3 structure. I have a product partner and an engineering partner. Both are great, both evangelize for design. And we as a unit, we run the team and we run like our unit. So the responsibility of anything, the failure or the success of the project relies on us. So I cannot just say, oh, there's a bug, it's not my problem, it's somebody else's problem, or there's a security escalation, I have nothing to do with it. It's the engineering manager or my engineering counterpart has to deal with it. Like, no, it's my responsibility. Things are not working. We're losing money. I'm accountable for that. So I feel like I'm very fortunate in this situation. So yeah, I think it really depends on what kind of context, what kind of environment you're in. And definitely working with government, you will definitely need a different kind of leader, like probably someone who knows more politics or someone who's able to handle that. Yeah.
I would like to turn this question around. Who should be your leader? Any opinions? Well, you have to have an opinion about it, right? Oh.
I was just thinking about that. Maybe it's about the values and common ground, and if maybe everybody chooses their own leader and their own way of how they see that and who they want to follow and what are the values they want to develop. Because as we spoke before, there are different kind of leaderships, and I guess everyone chooses the vibe, the energy, the vibe they likes, and they just trying to get from it whatever they like, I guess. But this is just my opinion.
Hi, my name is Olga, and I actually didn't want to answer your question, but I wanted to ask one. So, sorry. But yeah, I am not a leader yet, and I am wondering if you could share with us universal or common values and what do you feel that the young leaders, the leaders of the future, should start developing? What kind of, values, but also what kind of skills we should start develop to step into the leader role in like next 5 or 10 years? Thanks.
Okay. I think for everything in life, that's my personal opinion, but for everything in life, if you want to be prepared for a role, if you want to grow in a role, curiosity is the key, like for me. I'm thinking like if you are curious, you will learn and you will find people from whom you can learn, and this is also a key. So think today, like make this an exercise. I'm sorry, I'm borrowing exercise from your book. Like make this exercise today, right now, after this debate. Who was the leader in your life that you want to emulate, let's say? You want to follow the same path. Did you meet any leader that was good enough, that was matching your values, your core values? Who was that leader? What kind of features they have? What kind of leadership style they had? So basically, find someone you can aspire to. That helps, especially if you're a woman. And there are some, look here, there are some role models. And we all started in a world when it was not easy to be a leader, a woman, anything. But basically we made our way and we didn't make it alone. There were other people helping us, pushing us forward and moving us forward. So basically skills. You need to like people because you will be responsible for people. I think what you said about teams, it really resonated with me. You need a successor because you need to give those people you love, those people you care about, those people you are growing to be amazing to someone else. So you need to make sure that the people who are taking them over will not break them. Because I think everyone in this room, at some point in your career, everyone made a leader who break you. If you didn't, I'm really happy for you. If you had, I hope you had the strength to carry on. If not, give me a call. I'm always happy to talk about it. But you know, I think that curiosity, liking people, to the point, because there will be a few, you know, side roads, but to the point. Curiosity, liking people, being able to take ownership. So take a project. If you want to become a leader, take a project and start this project from scratch and get this project through research, ideation, and prototype, because it's our industry, so prototype, and test it and then make it happen. And then celebrate, because if you are a leader, remember to celebrate. So many of us are only working. And you know, if you did something, you came here, you learned something, celebrate it. You came here, you met other people, celebrate it. Because, you know, there are a lot of, there's a quote, and it's gonna to be one of those funny ones, because it's a fake quote. It's a quote from a TV series, Queer as Folk. There is this character there. She's a mother of a person who is gay, and she's very supportive. And one thing she's saying, like, mourn the losses because there are many, but celebrate the victories because there are few. So every time you have this opportunity to celebrate, do it. Celebrate with friends, celebrate with families, and celebrate with your team. Celebrate what kind of team you have. And one other thing that you need as a leader, thick skin. I'm sorry, I want to be more optimistic. I really enjoy being a leader, but you need thick skin. Because it's not only rainbows and unicorns and glitter, and it's not power, and it's not amazing. Sometimes it's tears, it's blood, it's sweat, and sometimes you really need to push yourself to your limits to protect your team. So really work on your thick skin. And it's not like personal, because some people are assholes, not because they don't like you, they don't care about you, they don't think about you, they are just assholes. So it's not about you. And being able to have this mindset, it's not about me, it's about the system, it's about the job, it's about someone being an asshole. I shouldn't use words like that, but you know, sorry about that. But basically, just create a thick skin. And don't be alone. Find someone now. When you are starting this path to become a leader, find someone who will support you and who will be your mirror. Because, you know, power is very seductive, and at some point we are losing our compass, moral compass. So have someone who will tell you honestly, to your face, you are being an asshole. And this person will save you from being a very bad leader. This person can be your compass, and it's good to have that person in your life.
I just want to comment on the first thing that you said. So I used to do this. I called it the stalking exercise. So when I was looking for someone that I was like, all right, where am I going to take my career and what do I want to do with my life? Because I had these moments of like, you know, when you have a moment and you don't know and you're having like a crisis, like what am I doing with my life right now? So I would go on LinkedIn and I will just look at companies that I really like and companies that I want to work in. And I will just Google like managers or designers or seniors there or whatever title that you want to get there. And I will just find these individuals on LinkedIn and I will just send them a message. Very simple message. Hi, I would love to talk. I saw your profile. I have no hidden intention. I don't need anything. I just would like to have a coffee chat. And you know what? Like the amount of people who respond, especially like people in higher places like VPs and heads of designs in massive companies, was astonishing for me. 99.9% of the time, people responded. They gave me the time. They went with me on like a half an hour Zoom call, and they were so down to earth. And some of them we're still talking, some of them we didn't see eye to eye. But I used to call it the stalking exercise, and this was my trick, like to see what was their career progression, what kind of skills they have, what kind of education they had, and that helped me a lot to get where I am right now.
So I just say one more thing, and this will be one short sentence, which is find a mentor. It helps, especially at the beginning.
LinkedIn stalking.
Okay, so I think we are at the end, but you know, it's not like we are going to abide the rules. So can we have one last question, if someone wants to, or maybe a thought that...
I won't be against it, I promise.
Okay, so thank you guys. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and it was a pleasure to talk with all of you. And I'm really happy that I met such amazing women, and I'm sharing the stage with them. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.